Hey writers, Lee Jessup, career coach for emerging and professional screenwriters with tip number 5 from our 5 days of query letter tips. And this one is all about you, the writer, and the script beyond the logline, right? At the end of the day, if a manager takes you on, they're taking on you, the writer. So they are not only taking you on for the one script, they're taking you on for the wealth of scripts and stories that you will write moving forward. Because of that, we want to include some biographical information, anything that is uniquely interesting and unique to you in the query letter. I generally advise writers to stay away from things like, here's where I went to film school. Many writers that they will have read and met with have gone to film school, so that is not going to be uniquely memorable. We want to stay away from like the chronology of things. I grew up here, I went to school there, I took a job over here, and here I'm now in LA writing, or out of LA writing. You no longer have to be in Los Angeles if you want to be a screenwriter specifically for features. But you want to give us some interesting and unique information that is uniquely yours. So I had one writer who, in her query letters, she would give a basic short bio and always end on, and currently I'm an amateur lockpicker. This came up in every meeting this woman ever had. She didn't have that many because she got signed rather quickly. But it's one of those details and tidbits that are unique to a person that they will be bringing the sensibility of, at least, to the page. I have writers who've included that, they've traveled to every major continent, or the number of countries they travel to, or some strange hobby that they had, hopefully not of the psychotic or questionable variety. You don't want to scare them off. You just want to share enough information to whet their appetite. Additionally, if your screenplays or your pilots have done well in a competition, specifically the one that you're offering up, you want to include those accolades, especially and specifically if it's from industry recognized competitions, institutions. So if you went to Tisch and were awarded a prestigious award or something like that, you certainly want to include that. If your material of the screenplay that you're offering up got an 8 on the blacklist, or was featured on ISA's development slate, or ultimately was a finalist for Script Pipeline, those are things that are going to pique somebody's interest because they're industry recognized and could very well carry some weight. So you want to be able to share those, but also be mindful of oversharing things that are not meaningful. So if you are going to tell me about a small island film festival in the Philippines, in all likelihood, if I'm an industry executive, unless I'm from the Philippines, that's not really going to mean anything to me. So try to find those things and to lean on those things with those accolades that have industry relevancy. If you have an interesting degree in something that you now sew into your work, lean into those things. We want to, while being very, very mindful of the real estate of a query letter, try to start introducing yourself in a manner that is unique and interesting to the recipient. Now, if you are querying a manager, you're going to include more of that biographical information because they are going to bring you on as a client. If you are querying a producer, that information is going to be significantly less necessary because they really care about the script and whether or not it's of interest to them. Of course, if you have lived experience that connects you to the material, whether it's in plot or theme or anything else, you want to speak to that as well because that just speaks to the authenticity of the piece. All right, I think this is going to be our final tip, though I do sense another video or two coming out about query letters. So do keep an eye out for those in terms of how to find the people to query and whether to cold query or use services like Virtual Pitch Fest. I will break it down in some upcoming videos. But until then, check out my query letter review that is now available on my site. Of course, what do we call it? Subscribe to the channel. Sorry, a lot of words falling out of my mouth at the moment. Subscribe to this channel if you found it useful, and hopefully we'll connect soon. Bye.